Hello, all. Welcome to my fragrance journey. My name is Ron, and. What? You look different. I look the same as I always do. It's you, friend. No, see, friend, it's you. I'm the same as I always am. Stay focused. Anyway, just wanted to share some perfumes that I was rather taken with in February and two shout outs as well. I struggled with deciding if I wanted to do a proper countdown situation or most worn or what have you, but I don't really keep track that stringently, and ranking is often quite the task for my little waffling brain. So, this is more just what I can recall now that the month is over as the fragrances that I was excited to wear or just kept having the urge to turn to for whatever reason. First up, we have. Whoa, where'd that arm come from? Wow. Anyway, stay focused. We have Alien by Mugler. Now, this is a longtime favorite of mine. It's been around for ages, and everyone seems to have strong opinions, whether it's something they love, or it's something that they don't, or based on current reformulations, something that they're rather upset about. Personally, in the 10 years or so that I've been wearing it, I've been a big fan the entire time. Yes, even with the current formulation. To me, it's still just so divine and heady. And I get to my nose, that lovely and, well, heady jasmine, or jasmine sambac. It's all just wrapped up, all those floral, or all that floral quality is just wrapped up in the cashmere and amber, and it's so sexy and a bit warm, but not anything spiced. It's just beautiful and just warm, sensual tones, and it's just something that is so beautiful and pulled together and yeah, just sexy and heady and captivating and all of that. And perhaps these days it doesn't have quite the oomph or quite the lasting power that it once did. And oddly, I do now get an additional almost grape skin note in the opening, but it lasts all of a minute or so. So overall, it's still one of the loveliest things going, and one that I not only wore last month, as I often do, but I just felt an especially strong pull to wear it. Though, in part, that also may be from John at Scentedsnowdrops for having mentioned it a few different times throughout the month, though he might be fairly repulsed if he were dealing with my L'Oreal version. So, but yeah, that is Alien by Mugler. And then on to the next, I should say, and carefully, not from the cap because it will fall. This is M by Mariah Carey. I don't believe I've mentioned this one on the channel much, if at all, yet. But this was absolutely the result of Karina from my Perfume Map. She mentioned this a few times in some of her videos, and I was intrigued by the notes. And of course, it's Mariah Carey, of whom I'm quite a fan, so I needed to check it out. Initially, I actually got a rollerball that Karina had mentioned was listed up on eBay for $8. However, as you see, I have also the full size, which came up on Shop Goodwill for a great price. It's around like $22 with shipping. So yeah, I snatched that up. And no, I definitely didn't buy this full bottle blind when I already had a blind bought travel size coming to me that I had not tested yet. definitely waited and tested that travel size first and then bought this. Yeah, sure. Stay focused. Anyway, this is a good one. It's got really interesting things listed in the opening. There's marshmallow and seawater or sea notes, is it says, and then there is some florals, some white florals, and then there's some warm vanilla woody things all up in the base, and some patchouli as well, and amber and all that good stuff. Or I guess not woody. Yeah, it's just incense, amber, and patchouli, I believe. But I get this kind of a little rearranged. So I get in the beginning the white florals, of which there is gardenia, and I can pick that out a little bit, but it's really just so well blended that it's just kind of a general white floral that I get. And then the marshmallow comes in after. So, and it's in a big way. It's not a sugar bomb, but it is just sweet and powdery and vanillic. It blends quite well into the florals. No kind of harsh starts or stops going on here. And I can't say, and I must touch on, I don't get anything briny or even very aquatic from those sea notes. But when I smell it right against my skin, there is definitely something that's indescribable that I pick up on. Like it's there for sure, but who knows what it is? Nothing that I can put a finger on or really describe. It's not bad, it's just something different. And so I'm assuming maybe it's those C notes. I don't know. But, then when it gets into that base, everything really just becomes sweet warmth. I don't really get any of the base notes too distinctly either. It's just, I'm wearing it today. Yeah, sweet perfumed warmth. Maybe a hint of the incense and patchouli if I'm really thinking about it, but I kind of have to be thinking about it. Otherwise, it just kind of all wafts up into, again, some sweet warmth. And it's a really nice one. It's one that I enjoy a lot for the evening time as well, and, towards bed, that sort of thing. And so, yeah, that is M by Mariah Carey. Next, as I get arranged and look for where I put it on this big crazy desk, here we go. We have Untold Absolu by Elizabeth Arden. One that I know I've talked about on the channel before, not too many videos back, because this was a new addition to my collection last month. I was also tipped off on this one, or interested in this one, thanks to a fellow YouTuber as well, Cassandra from Skin Sense for Fusspots, and I'll have her and everybody that I've mentioned listed below, as always. But this is one that, firstly, I must mention, maybe it's discontinued. I don't know. I know I touched on that the last time as well. It wasn't listed anywhere but gray market sellers and then resellers like, eBay and that sort of thing. I got mine from eBay for around $25. So I'm not sure on the status of it, but it is a good one. And as I've mentioned before, it gives me similar vibes to Kayali's Vanilla Candy Rock Sugar. They're not clones or dupes in either direction, but they're both sweet, fruity vanilla fragrances. The Kayali goes pear, while this goes plum as far as the fruitiness. This also has a bit of spice and citrus, thanks to ginger and bergamot that's in the opening. And those are definitely not anything that would be in the Kayali. This also has floral touches, lightly so, but they are there. And then the base is when the fruits will, really soften, and then we're in just another kind of vanilla comfort sort of situation. Also, actually, similarly to both Vanilla Candy Rock Sugar and the M by Mariah Carey, this is one that I think is good for any time, but especially those evening and bedtime type of scents. And so, yeah, that is Untold Absolu by Elizabeth Arden. And then next, I have got the last of my fragrance favorites in proper, because like I said, I have a couple little kind of bonusy ones, but this is Lilac Brûlée by Fzotic. And I do fear that I talk about this one a hell of a lot when we combine this and Instagram, because, well, I do. But it's just damn good. Also, I'm sure part of it is that this is one of the few niche offerings that I have, in contrast to a sea of designer and celebrity scents in my collection. It's not that it's so niche that, it's off the wall or you couldn't find some footing for it in a designer house. But it is different enough to still stand out, and thus, I think that's why I keep reaching for it. With this, though, is also showing me that there is a bit of a theme for this last month, in not only just a lot of gourmands, but in gourmands that don't go so far into the edible or photorealistic territory, which I'm still wanting to get more into that side of things, just for exploration's sake at least. But clearly, when left to my own devices, where gourmands are concerned, I keep landing on the more perfumed and less nibbly side of things, which I'm okay with, as always. As I always say, don't call me a snack. No. So, yeah. Anywho, what does this smell of? Well, it's very sweet marzipan goodness from the jump, but properly almond, not this extract thing where it goes to artificial cherry stuff. Just actual, like, almond confection. And the lilac comes through definitely second. It's a bit powdery. It's softer than the marzipan, but the floral qualities and the powderiness and everything kind of helps to round out with the sweetness that's going on. I also get, with this, kind of as it sits a little bit, but not too long. I wouldn't say it's like deeply in the mid or anything, but I do get something that is very decidedly waxy and slightly green. And I've kind of, as I've had it and sat with it and kind of noticed this more, as I've continued to wear it, I don't know, there is rhubarb in this, so I wonder if it's that, or perhaps something, else that I'm getting. It's nothing that's so green or plant-like that it's pushing it out of its gourmand territory. It's just something that also adds some extra interest. Now, in the dry down, I just get some vanilla, and I find that I get a touch of almost a soft, like, woodiness, and there are woods in it, but it's quite faint, and who knows, might be in part just because I know it's now in there, so maybe my nose is telling me I'm smelling it, because it's really not very strong, but it's definitely, I feel like I'm getting a little something to kind of ground it there. Also, I do find that I have a hard time not kind of like huffing this once I put it to my wrists, several times throughout the day. So it could also be that, just smelling it so damn directly and concentrated. But yeah, Lilac Brûlée by Fzotic, a very, very good one that I'm happy to have. And then moving on to the first of my two kind of bonuses. And I just called them bonuses because they weren't really ones that I don't know, are favorites in the same way, but they were ones that also just kind of piqued my interest or I found useful, or I don't know. So the first one is one that's more interest based. Not initially though. So this is Me by the Snif, the house Snif. Although, of course, I think you could just say, for a little bit of funsies, you could say Sniff Me. Ha ha ha. Anyway, stay focused. So, this is Me by Snif, and this is a new release from them. This came out within the last so many weeks. I actually wasn't too interested from the jump. I saw it and I was like, okay, it's your skin but better. Peachy is kind of the like vibe they're going for. Just smelling warm and attractive and blah blah blah. It's fine. That kind of like idea. I was like, okay, that sounds fine. But they recently also launched a loyalty program, and I finally signed up with it a couple weeks ago. And through their introductory program, or through, I guess, being retroed in a bit through my last couple purchases, because for folks, I think within a certain window, if you sign up, and I don't know if it's still going on, but if you sign up within a certain window and you've had previous purchases within so many months, they count those towards their loyalty program as well. So you kind of just can rack up some heavy points from the jump. And that's what happened to me my last two, and well, only two purchases or orders from Snif. Those got counted in. So I had a lot of points though from the beginning. And one of the things you could get with them was to redeem this full size of their new fragrance, and you only had to pay the shipping. So $9, and I got a full perfume, which is normally $65. So I thought that was a worthy deal then, even if I wasn't like overly taken with the idea. I thought, hey, for $9, I mean, that's in some cases a decant or a sample at other places. So why not? Let's just see what the kids are talking about. And yeah, this is, from what I've seen, it's supposed to be kind of, I guess, their riff, again, on this your skin but better idea, kind of the like Glossier You type vibes. I've not smelled any of those, so I don't know. What I can tell you is in the opening, in contrast to everything they say and stuff that I have seen from other folks, I get a very wet earth sort of scent, like moistened soil. Or wait, what is it supposed to be called? Claire taught me this, and she has a video on it, which you would think further solidified it in my brain. Oh, geosmin. So yeah, it's geosmin. It's, again, this kind of damp soil situation. I get that in a big way. I get a little sweetness. I get a little the ambroxan that's definitely in this and grows, but I don't get much other than that geosmin at first. And then as it sits, that kind of slowly fades away. It takes a little while, but it fades away. And then I get, which I should also add, I don't mind it. It's not a bad version of that. It's somehow, with the other things, it is really pleasing and kind of comforting in a weird way, but it's just so unexpected. And from what I've seen in other reviews, nobody else is really mentioning it, so I think I just could be nuts. I don't know. Blame it on my olfactory system, but I do get that. And then, of course, yeah, I do get more of that peach skin thing, more of that slightly peachy fruitiness, but it's not even fruity in a big way, nothing very pronounced. And then the ambroxan comes in, and now I have kind of realized over these last couple months as I've been trying different things that I wouldn't say sensitive to ambroxan, because I mean, at least as far as in a negative sense, I know a lot of folks struggle with being rather sensitive to it and picking it out quite easily and finding that it's very sharp, or they'll say screechy, or just really off-putting in some way, or even sickly for some folks. I don't get any of the bad things, so I can pick it out and I can get it quite strongly, especially obviously when it is used pretty seemingly liberally, as it is in this case. But it's not a bad thing. I get it in kind of just a warm, comforting, your skin but better, but also slightly different. Like, I wouldn't say it's skin-like, it's just, it's interesting. It's not, it's its own thing, truly. Like, I think if you can smell it, good, bad, or otherwise, it's its own thing. It's kind of the cilantro of the fragrance world, I feel. And yeah, I like it. But that being said, I can pick it out easily in things, and I find that what I realized when I smelled this, and what I've realized when I've smelled other things, and this kind of really tipped the scales in that realization, is that the kind of through line to a lot of fragrances that I am finding similar is the ambroxan, because I do just find, for me, it can often be quite strong, and eventually, like in this case, it's eventually overpowering. Like eventually that's all I get in this is the ambroxan. It takes a minute for sure. I get the jasmine, I get peach, I get some other vanilla, that sort of thing, woodiness. I think there's like oh, you know what, there's orris. I wonder if the orris root is where I'm getting some of that earthiness. I don't know. Anyway, but I get other things, but really it becomes ambroxan city. And again, I don't mind. And I especially don't mind at a $9 price tag for a bottle of it, because that Baccarat Rouge 540 kind of thing, I don't mind it. I like it, but I would never, for me, pay the price tag. Sorry, I think I hit the mic. But I'd never pay that price tag, just because for my finances, for my situation in life, like, you know, $300 plus on anything, which really a lot of Baccarat Rouge, like the big ones, like 500 or whatever. It's, you know, I if I want to do that, I will, but it has to be something that I just find super special. And probably because of the, you know, popularity of it, this is something we've seen a lot, and this is something I've seen a lot now. And this is kind of my Baccarat Rouge 540. I wouldn't say it's the same for sure. Obviously, I get that really different opening, but where I end up landing with it is the same place. And, you know, yeah, I'll take this one. Even if I didn't get this fully, you know, at the $9 price tag, if I was going to buy it full price, I'd still rather buy this at $65 than Baccarat Rouge 540 or anything that's in the same vein. So yeah, I like it. It's fine. The opening I kind of wish was a little more lingering somehow, because again, it was so interesting and kind of fun and made this really feel kind of different. But yeah, we'll see. But yeah, so that's why it's not a favorite. It's just something I don't know, felt like calling out here, as it's a more recent, or the most recent addition. Oh, and again, that was Me by Snif, and I'll have everything listed below, of course. And then, finally, not an actual perfume, but an perfume or fragrance oil, or I guess it's not an actual spray. Duh. Anyway, this is Cocoa Butter Cashmere by Blanc and Noire Skincare. This is indie kind of skincare, fragranced skincare line that I got turned on to by some Instagram peeps. And I've got this, and I've got a body butter and a different scent, and they're all good. But I really just found that last month especially, I was really wearing this a fair bit. You don't need much, so it may not look like I've used a lot, but of course this is an oil, and it's a fairly perfumed oil at that. So I find I don't need a ton. Not that it gets too obnoxious if you have a fair bit on, but I just, you know, I don't need a ton of it at once. And this is really heavy on the cashmere side of things. Get a bit of the cocoa butter, but it really is just cashmere goodness. It's soft. It's, again, this whole theme that I've had going of soft, warm, comforting, good for bedtime, wind down type of things. Like, I just keep turning to them. And clearly, again, with how 2025 is going, I think that's probably not too surprising for most. So yeah, this is just a really good one that I wouldn't necessarily wear as a perfume in and of itself, just because it doesn't last terribly long. And so while, you know, I could reapply, you know, having to sit there and rub in an oil versus, you know, and this is, I should say too, this is kind of that middle ground. I wouldn't say it's a deeply moisturizing oil, but it's definitely more moisturizing than something like Youth Dew, which is also an oil, at least the form I have of it. But that kind of sinks in really quickly and is not really about moisturizing. This is a bit of moisturizing going on. So yeah, reapplying throughout the day, it's not hard, but you know, I'm working and stuff. I don't necessarily want to have to sit there and rub in an oil every so often. So since it does dissipate within just a couple hours, I kind of, again, keep this for more towards bedtime, maybe after a shower, and then that's it. But yeah, it's a good one. I like it. So that is my final thing to ramble about. These have been my favorites for February. And maybe I'll do another one next month. I'm kind of still just figuring out my footing in general with videos, so I don't know exactly what kind of things I want to keep as regular sort of segments, shall we say. But yeah, maybe this one. Let me know. But I thank you all for, well, one, I thank you all for watching. And before I wrap up, let me also say, if you've tried any favorites or had any favorites of the month, drop a couple below. I'm curious to see what you guys have been liking and loving. Or if you've tried any of these and you have any opinions in either direction, let me know. But yeah, again, thank you for watching. Thank you for joining me. And thank you for being with me on this fragrance journey. I hope you're having a good rest of your day. And yeah, I will see you all in the next one. Bye.